Hey kids, ready? I'm ready. Ready to learn with you today and have some fun along the way because you're awesome and amazing. There isn't anyone in the whole wide world who can do what you can do. So, are you ready? Ready to learn with me today and have some fun along the way? Ready, set, go! Today we're talking about a Christmas letter. Well, it's not really a Christmas letter, but it's Christmas time. So we're going to talk about some Christmassy things. This is what the letter looks like backwards. Do you know what that letter is? Let's see if we can look at the pictures that go with that letter. And let's see if we can figure out its sound. Ring. This kind of a flower is a rose, good. Robot, rabbit, and this kind of a bird is called a robin. So what sound is that? Ring, rose, robot, rabbit, robin. R, 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 r. All right, that's its sound. Let's sing the alphabet song and see if we can find that letter in here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? This time, let's sing it backwards. Ready? Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, C, D, C, B, A. Now I know my Z, Y, X's. Next, it is time for your guesses. Wow, Miss Connie got a little confused over the C and D right here, didn't she? That's okay. Sometimes we make mistakes, and that's all right. Did you guess which letter it is? Do you know? Okay, let's turn it around and look at it. We're going to take off this capital. What letter is that? R. That's letter R. You're right. Let's see if we can find it on our ABCs. You know what? I think it's a little closer to the ending rather than the starting. So let's go backwards. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R. There it is. That's right where it matches. Can you see that? It's pretty close to the ending, isn't it? Do you know something else that starts with R besides these letters? Christmas time, we talk about letter R, and letter R stands for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Have you heard about him? Here's the lowercase r. There's capital R and lowercase r. Aren't those fun? Okay, guess what? Let's see if you can find a letter R on our mat. Can you find a capital R on there? Look very carefully. Can you find it? What color is it? Red. It's right there. Very good job. Okay, you ready for the lowercase? Let's look over here. Can you find a lowercase on there? Look very carefully. What color is it? Green, that's right. Can you see it right there? There it is. Good job. All right, you found capital and lowercase. Now we need to write them. So can you get out your writing road? And I'm going to get our capital R for one side and our lowercase r for the second side. Here's our writing road. There's capital R and lowercase r, and we're going to need to write them inside of our writing road. So you're going to need to get a marker, any color you'd like. I think I'm going to choose a brown one. Oh, you know what? We're doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a red one for Red-Nosed Reindeer. and red. I just think that's a fun marker. So let's do red for today. You can do whatever color you want. I'm just going to do red. Okay, see that long stick? We're going to write it from the top to the bottom, all the way down. We're going to write our R. And then the next part, see how it goes a loop around? We're going to start right here at the top, and we're going to go around right to the dots. Can you see that? Now, if I didn't keep going, is that an R? Nope, that's a P. We've got to draw our other line. There is a capital R. You know what? Let's practice one more. The top of the writing road all the way to the bottom. Then we're going to start at the top and go around to the dotted middle part. And then we're going to draw his little leg out there so he won't fall over. Are we helping letter R stand up? Good job. Okay, now we've got lowercase r. He's got a little line right there too, but he doesn't go all the way to the top. He starts on the dots and goes right down to the bottom. And then he has a little line that goes around on the dots. Can you see that? Good job. Let's try one more. Goes from the middle to the bottom, and then we're going to go around. Can you see that little line that goes around? Now look. Right now, that's lowercase, but when he grows up, he's just going to go all the way around and then draw his little leg. He's already started, hasn't he? He'll go around and come down, and there's a capital R. Now, what would happen if instead of stopping right there, though, I kept going down? Is that an R? Nope, that's an N. N goes all the way down. Lowercase r just goes around. So we just do that much. We go down and we go with the little loop. Good job. All right, we need to draw something that starts with letter R. So I'm going to need to get my wipes out so I can wipe off all those practices. See all these practices I put on here? I'm going to take them off because we need to draw a letter R picture, don't we? So let's think, what shall we draw? You know what? I love roses. I'm going to draw a rose. Do you want to help me draw a rose? Oh, and I even have my red marker. So you can use whatever color you want because some roses are pink and some are orange. There's all kinds of roses. I'm going to do a red one. The way I'm going to start it is I'm going to just draw a little loop like that. Can you do that? You're just going to go down, around, and back up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not being perfect. We're just doing our best. Then right here at the top, I'm going to touch this line and I'm going to go round, around, around. Can you see that rose? I can do the same thing over here. Around, around, around. There's our rose. Is that pretty easy? Just do a loop and then draw some circles around. It's almost a little bit like a scribbly. And then what else does a rose need? Does a flower always, let's look at our rose right here. It has a stem and some leaves. So I'm going to draw a stem. It's just a straight line on all of my roses. That's okay. You can draw that. Can you draw the line on there? And then I'm going to draw some leaves. I'm just going to draw a little circle and a little circle on each side. Can you see my leaves? And a little circle and a little circle. How are your roses looking? Are you drawing some roses on there? Now, if a rose is kind of hard and you don't want to draw a rose, do you know what else is kind of fun to draw? Over on our page, right by the R's, we had a ring. Should we try drawing a ring? A ring just is a round circle. And then let's draw a little gem on it. How's that for a ring? And you know what? If you don't like that shape, you could just draw a little circle diamond on it. So there's some fun things you can draw with letter R. Nice work. Okay, while you're finishing your rose or your ring, whichever one you want to draw on there, while you're doing that, we're going to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, I've got my picture right here. Look at his nose. Is that nice and red? Every time we sing nose, we're going to touch our nose. If you're drawing, you don't have to touch your nose. But if you're done drawing, touch your nose with me. Now we got to say the name of all the other reindeer when we start out this song. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, "Ho, ho, ho, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" Then how the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, "Yippee! Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you'll go down in history." Did Rudolph help his friends? Did they learn that Rudolph was really, really helpful just because his nose was different than their noses? He was still a really, really great reindeer. And the other reindeer had to kind of learn a little bit of a lesson. They needed to be friends with everybody. Just because someone's different, we don't stop playing with them. We're still very kind to everyone because we don't want to be mean. We want to be nice, and we want people to be nice to us. So when we're being kind, people are kind to us. You know what? Let's sing the kind song. Point to you. Point to I. I want to be kind to everyone, for that is right, you see. So I say to myself, remember this. Kindness begins with me. If we're kind first, then we hope people will be kind back to us, don't we? That's what we hope, is that people will be super kind. All right. Are you ready? We need to see if we can find letter R. And we're going to see what letter R is going to tell us to do. All right, are you ready? Help me with these letters. What's this one? U, C, J, I, oh, you're good at this, L. A lot of times when we do this, it's really soon. Is it coming up really soon, or are we going to have to do the whole alphabet? We'll see. M, Y, T, A, E, S, K, H, Q, O, oh my goodness, I hope it's in here, X, G, N, F, R. We found it. Do you know what it says? Reach to the right. That means take both hands, reach as far as you can. Reach, 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 reach. Oh, you're a good reacher. You know what? Let's just reach high. Oh, wow. That was kind of a good stretch. You're a good reacher. So let's reach out to both sides. Reach. Ah. Whew. All right. Good reaching and good letters. You found them so quickly. That was a great job. All right. Are you done with your R's, your roses, and your rings? Now, maybe you just chose to do roses or rings, whatever. Let's see, at Christmas time, and you know what, I should say at holiday time, because during the holidays, even if you celebrate Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or lots of other celebrations, we have gifts. Diwali, St. Lucia, they all have gifts that we give. Sometimes they're food gifts, sometimes they're new clothes gifts, but they all have gifts. So we're going to see if we can match the gifts. There's some little tiny gifts. There's some medium-sized gifts, and there's some ginormous gifts. So we're going to see if we can match them. So I'm going to need you to help me a little bit. We're going to do this side first, and we're going to match it to this side. So let's start right here. Can you see that one? Look at what size it is. Is it medium, large, or tiny? Let's start right here. Does it match this one? Nope. Let's see. Does it match this one? Yes, those are both mediums. Very good. Okay, we're going to draw a line and match them. Is that a good match? Okay, let's do the next one. Oh, look. It's a giant, huge one. Can you see how big that one is? Does it match this one right up here? No, that one's tiny. Does it match this one? Nope, we already matched that one. Was that a medium one? What about this one? Yep, it's a great big one. Okay, match that one. Now we have one left. It's the tiny down here. Does it match this one? No, that's a great big one. You're right. What about this one? No, middle size, and we already matched it. It's the tiny. So let's go from right here. Oh, all the way up. Good matching and good knowing the sizes. You did a good job deciding if it was small, medium, or large. Now, look at that carefully. What shape are those? What shape are those? Are those squares? Squares have 4 sides. Everybody show me a 4. Squares have 4 sides. Shall we count the sides and see if we have enough sides? Let's count them. Let's do this medium size. You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are those all the same size? And there's 4 sides. Very nice. Let's try this great big one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there 4 sides? And they're all the same. So that's a square. Oh, let's see this little tiny. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 sides and it's tiny. And look at this. We know that one's a square because they're the same. We know that one's a square because they're the same. And we know that one's a square because they're the same. Great job. Squares have 4 sides and they're all the same, don't they? Nice work. All right. I'm going to put my marker away for a minute. And we're going to take just a minute. And you know what? We're going to talk about the seasons for a minute. There are 4 seasons. Now, everywhere in the world doesn't have 4 seasons. Some people who live very, very close to the ocean, it's kind of the same. It's always mostly nice and warm. Some people just have a rainy time. Even when it's colder, it's kind of colder, but they don't have snow. And some people live in places where there's winter, spring, summer, and fall. Now we're going to look right here at winter, spring, summer, and fall. For some people, winter time means rain. For some people, it means snow. I live in a place where there's snow in the winter time. And in the North Pole, they have snow too. But the North Pole doesn't have summer sunshine. A lot of places have rain in the winter and they have sunshine in the summertime. I live in a place where there's lots of sunshine in the summertime. During the fall time, the leaves on the trees turn colors and they fall to the ground. And during the springtime, flowers grow. Now, in the springtime, even when it's rainy, flowers still grow in the springtime. And sometimes the leaves still fall. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to sing the 4 season song. So get your fingers ready because we're going to do winter, spring, summer, and fall. And we're going to sing a song about all of these. So get your 4 ready. And every time we say 4, I want you to do your fingers really close. Okay, you ready? There are 4 seasons, 4 seasons, 4 seasons. There are 4 seasons, 4 seasons in a year. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Yes, I can name them all. Winter, spring, summer, fall. 4 seasons in a year. Even if you don't have snow and you have rain, it's still colder in the wintertime. And it's really hot in the summertime. And flowers grow almost anywhere anybody lives. And leaves can still fall off the trees. So that's kind of a fun song to learn about the seasons. Wintertime, where I live, is where Christmas is. For some people during Christmas, it's summertime. And the sun is bright and shiny. And you can go play at the ocean or you can play outside. But where I live, there's usually snow or ice on the ground. And you couldn't go ride your bike it would be too cold because it's winter time. Well, Rudolph lived where it was winter time. And it was winter time most of the time. During the cold part when Christmas came, it was super, super, super cold and it would get snowy and everything. And the summertime, the sun would shine, but it would be a little warmer, but there was still snow. Well, guess what? When Rudolph was little, he had his nose, huh? And the other reindeer were not very nice to Rudolph, were they? And they didn't treat Rudolph. Was it kind to do that? That's not very nice to be unkind to someone just because they're different. So we need to be friends with everyone no matter what, don't we? Well, one Christmas, do you remember what happened? Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Why do you think he needed Rudolph's help? It was so foggy and so snowy that they needed a bright light at the front of the sleigh to get them to all of the houses so the children could have their toys. Well, guess what? Rudolph's nose worked, so they could do it. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to make a snowy picture, and we're going to make Rudolph's nose. So we're going to need some blue paper because our blue paper is like nighttime, okay? And does Santa come during the day or at night? You're right, he comes at nighttime. So we need a nighttime blue paper. So can you get a blue paper? And we're going to take our blue paper and we're going to do some painting on here. We need to make a whole bunch of snow so that Santa can come and ask Rudolph to make his nose work. So what color is snow? It's white. So if you have some white paint, you can use some white paint. If you don't, see if you can find some because you're going to need some white paint. If you don't, you know what? You could pretend, I guess, that yellow was white. And sometimes paints have white on them. So I'm not sure if yours does or not. Another thing that you could do that makes really fun paint is you could make some pudding. Pudding is kind of whitish, and you could use that. We're going to use our fingers for our paintbrush today. We have 2 paintbrushes, 4 paintbrushes, 6 paintbrushes, 8 paintbrushes, 10 paintbrushes, but we're not going to use all of them. We're just going to use one. So can you show me one paintbrush? Okay, this is going to be our snow brush. Okay, now if you don't like to touch paint, you could use a Q-tip to make little tiny dots, or you could use your paintbrush and you could do dot, dot, dot. But I'm going to use this paintbrush because it's kind of fun to use this paintbrush. And I'm going to take some white paint, or if you have some pudding, you can use pudding or whatever you want. I'm just going to put a little dab of white on there. Okay? And then I'm going to take my finger, and I'm not going to rub it everywhere. I'm just going to tap it. See? It puts a little bit of white. Can you see that? Right on my finger. And I'm going to make some snow. I'm going to get a little more. When I start getting it off my finger, oh, we're going to have lots and lots of snow. Keep tapping it and keep putting snow all over your picture. Do you think it's going to be hard for everyone to see with all this snow? This wintertime snow. Oh my goodness. Are you getting lots of snow on yours? Oh, look. Look at all that snow. And then when you're done, you need to take your wipe and wipe off your finger really, really nicely. We're going to get all of that snow right off our finger. And now we have a clean paintbrush. Look at all that snow. How is Santa going to find his way to our houses if it's all covered in snow? He's going to ask Rudolph. You're right. What color is Rudolph's nose? Rudolph's nose is red. So we need some red paint. And we're going to take it and we're going to put some red paint. Now, we don't need a whole lot. And Rudolph's nose, we're going to use this paintbrush. Instead of our finger, we're going to use a big one. We're going to use our thumb. And we're going to tap it right in there. Oh, can you see the red? And we're going to do one nose right on our paper. Right anywhere you want. Oh, look. There's Rudolph's nose. Can Rudolph see in all that snow and fog and all the blowing? Rudolph is going to take us right to Santa, right to our house. And Santa's going to be in that sleigh. And Rudolph can see because his nose is helping him see through the snow. Is that crazy? That's what Rudolph does. He uses his nose to help him. Now, there's one thing missing on this page. Do you know what that is? When it dries, you're going to need to write your name on there so that when anybody looks at this cool picture, they will know exactly who made it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write mine down at the bottom. You can keep making your snow or your Rudolph's nose. I'm going to write my name. Can you see it right there on the bottom? It's kind of hard to see, but that's all right, because I know it's my page. Now, while you're finishing making all of your snow and making your Rudolph nose, I'm going to set mine down for a minute to dry. And I'm going to read you a story. Have you heard of this book before? It's called The Polar Express. This one is not about Rudolph. This is a different way to get to the North Pole. But this story is about before Rudolph even leaves. He's with Santa. This is a story by Chris Van Allsburg. And do you know what? He wrote the story and he did the pictures. Did you know that people could do both? Some people are really, really good at that. And we're going to read this story called The Polar Express. Oh, there's the Polar Express going through the wilderness. Here we go. Let's read this story. And you can finish. If you're done making all of your snowflakes and your nose, put it down to dry and you can write your name on it when we're done with the story, okay? Are you ready? On Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. Oh, look at that train. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. There's the conductor. Can you see him? Looking right there. He's kind of hard to see, isn't he? All aboard, the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. Well, he said, are you coming? Where? I asked. Why, to the North Pole, of course, was his answer. This is the Polar Express. I took his outstretched hand, and he pulled me on board. The train was filled with children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat cinders as white as the snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Oh, look at that. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roam and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills into snow-covered plains. We crossed the great barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first, we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who gets the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Oh, wow. Look at all those elves. Can you see them? Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and, pointing to me, said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I would like. But the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from one of the harnesses. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. The team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. Uh-oh, look how sad he is. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the silver bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood in my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas, he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my sister Sarah and I opened all of our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket, signed Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas morning she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me, as it does for all who truly believe. Is that a fun story? Did Santa take care of him and make sure that he still got his silver bell? You know what? I think it's so much fun to talk about the reindeer, to talk about their bells, and I hope you had fun making your picture right here of Rudolph. All right, we're going to sing one song, and then it's going to be time to go. We're going to sing Up on the Housetop. Is Santa going down the chimney? Make a housetop. Up on the housetop, reindeer paws. You ready to jump? Out jumps good old Santa Claus, down through the chimney with lots of toys, all for the little ones' Christmas joys. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. First comes a stocking of little Will. Oh, just see what a glorious fill. He has a hammer and lots of tacks, also a ball and a whip that cracks. Ho, 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 who would it go? Ho, 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 who would it go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. Next comes a stocking of little Nell. Oh, dear Santa, feel it well. Give her a dolly that laughs and cries, one that will open and shut her eyes. Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Ho, 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 who wouldn't go? Up on the housetop, click, 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 down through the chimney with good Saint Nick. Oh, I hope you have so much fun talking about Rudolph and making your picture. And remember, write your name on it. Even if you can't see it really good, it's good to have your name on all of your artwork because this is a cool piece of art. I'll bet yours looks a little bit different than mine does. And that's great because yours is your picture and mine is my picture. I love being with you. You are incredible. See you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. You're awesome, possum. See you soon.